Portugal and the UK, or in both countries, having strong physical activity promotion agendas, I guess. It's what we are responsible for. We are here today discussing some of the avenues for that. Two topics that I think are perhaps not as discussed in this context that I'd like to reflect on with you briefly are beyond governmental institutions, beyond academia, beyond even the private sector, which does what they do. Is there a role for grassroots organizations, civil society generated organizations that also contribute to this agenda? What's your view on that? Because personally, I think that's an underexplored resource, but it's a resource that has enormous intrinsic potential because of the motivation that typically is associated with these organizations and the capacity that they have to actually make the link between academics, government officials, and the public. Yeah. How do you see that in the UK?
When we developed, we developed in England, we developed a national framework about increasing population level physical activity because everybody active every day. Yeah. And we spent a year looking at international evidence about what works to shift physical activity at population level. And one of the things that we did find was that actually the state can't do it on its own. Health professionals can't do it on their own. If you look at places such as Finland where we've actually seen population level shifts in a positive way in physical activity, it's been through grassroots organisations. It's about giving communities and individuals the support to develop their own ways that they want to be active, because everybody wants to be active in a different way. So and the state is not able to necessarily provide for everyone. And so it's actually what's critical and what we're trying to do in the UK after seeing what's happened in other countries is to actually try and support and encourage community-led interventions, because that's really where we actually start to see sustainable shifts in physical activity.
Are there examples that come to mind that have worked in whatever area it may be of physical activity that come to your mind as you think of exemplary or perhaps pioneering organizations that have already crossed that path, that bridge? And I can give you one that actually I think comes from the UK that has impressed me, that we haven't anything like that in Portugal. And here we are together with a group of friends that are particularly interested in developing walking programs and walking in the community. We'll talk about that in a second. But one of the projects that I found interesting is something called Park Run.
Yeah.
Well, you know more about it than I do. So, what's your take on it? And is that a good example for a grassroots association or an organization that promotes physical activity?
No, that was what I was going to mention. It's been incredibly successful in England, and what it is about is actually just giving individuals and communities the opportunity to come together to be physically active. So what's critical about it is that it's focused on fun, it's focused on communities, and it's focused on empowering individuals and communities. So you just sign up for Park Run, and then you turn up to where it's arranged, say at a weekend on a Saturday morning, and then with other people you can do you do the Park Run, which is a set distance